Please welcome Holly Avery and Joyce Lim.
Hi everyone, I'm Joyce, and this is Holly, and we're so glad you're choosing to spend a part of your day with us.
My journey at Notion started over 5 years ago now, so it's pretty special for me to be standing on this stage today. I originally joined as one of our early sales hires back in 2020 and moved to product marketing to support our enterprise team in 2022. Since then, I've had the opportunity to help launch many of our enterprise features, along with automations, integrations, and most recently, enterprise search.
Hi everyone, I'm Joyce. I'm part of the product marketing team too. I joined over a year ago after I made a big move from Sydney to SF, and it's been a pretty wild ride. But a big highlight for me at Notion has to be launching our community's #1 request offline mode, which I hope you've had that chance to try since. Woohoo! All right, so today we're going to talk about something we all deal with at work. Over time, we've added many different tools, each one promising to help us move faster, work better, collaborate better. You know what I'm talking about. But even with all of that, so much of our time and energy goes into chasing the little things, like chasing down updates, copying things from one tool to another, reformatting, piecing information together. That's why we're excited to show you a simpler way today, an AI team built right into Notion. Think of it as extra teammates who can help you with everyday work. They can take notes for you so you can pay attention in your meetings. They can find you answers to help you unblock work, and they can help you move big projects forward faster. The best part is they all live right in Notion, where you do your work. So there's no new tool to learn, no new tool to remember to use. They just make the work you're doing a little better and faster. And at the end of today's session, we'll wrap up with some resources you can take with you so you can get started right away. Okay, let's jump in. So let's start talking about how most of our days look like. Have you ever ended your day thinking, I was busy all day, but what did I actually do? I know that I have, and I know most of us have. And the culprit is work about work. So what's work about work? It's all the little stuff you actually need to do around the work that you want to do. So if you're someone who spends a lot of your time in meetings, you know what it's like to be listening, leading the conversation, and taking notes. And then after the meeting, you have to tidy up the notes, and then stick around for the follow-ups. And if you're in a few meetings a day, that's a good hour gone. Here's another really good example. Someone asks us a clarifying question, and then suddenly, everyone's jumping in with docs they have, old threads, past emails, just to share context they have, and then it's on you to piece all of it together into something that makes sense. We know that no quick questions are really quick. And I think we often underestimate how much time it takes to track down the answer, put it together, and then stick around for the follow-up.
Here's where AI can make your work feel lighter. It's really good at the types of things that slow us down the most. Things like repetitive busy work, pulling information from a bunch of different places, and facing down that intimidating blank page. These are the things that eat away at our time and drain our energy, often before we get to the work that really needs doing. When we can delegate our repetitive work to AI, we can create space for the type of work that only we can do. Things like applying judgment, weighing trade-offs, making decisions, exercising creativity. And in that space, new possibilities open up. With more time and headspace, we can think bigger, explore ideas more deeply, and create work that feels thoughtful instead of rushed. And AI isn't just about speed and productivity. It gives us freedom to bring our own judgment, to build and imagine, and to focus on the things that really matter.
This is where Notion comes in. Our vision is simple, and you've heard it. One truly connected workspace where your knowledge, your projects, your tools, they all live and work together with AI built in. The challenge today is that most AI apps, while really useful, they sit outside of our workflow. What that means is it's another tab, another login, another tool you have to remember to use. It breaks your flow, it adds extra steps, and oftentimes the output can feel disconnected from the real work you're trying to do. And the reason for that is these apps don't see the bigger picture because they're disconnected from your work. They don't have the context from your team, the decisions that have been made, and any context about what's important to you. So that is the reason why answers can feel generic, or worse, wrong. So instead of saving time, they create more friction and work. But with Notion, AI is right where your work already happens. And that is when AI starts to feel genuinely useful, like a teammate beside you helping you move the work forward. So today, we're very excited to introduce you to 3 newest teammates in Notion. They didn't get a lot of attention in the spotlight because Agent's a cool new kid, but every cool kid needs a crew. They're highly specialized, like any great team. So the first really is AI meeting notes. You can think of it as the world's most attentive note taker. It never misses a word, it never tunes out, it's always listening. Next up, enterprise search. It's your shortcut to answers no matter where they're hiding, whether they're in docs, buried in Slack threads, or tucked away in Google Drive. Enterprise search has its way of pulling it all together. And lastly, there's research mode. You can think of it as your built-in research assistant. It's always available, fast and thorough. And so if you're facing down a big project or big questions, research mode saves you hours of digging. It pulls together the raw materials, connects the dots, and puts together a first draft for you. All right, okay, that's a lot of talking. So to see these new teammates in action today, we're going to go through a day in the life of a new employee at Notion Motors, and we're gonna pass it off to Holly to kick us off.
Thanks, Joyce. For the purposes of this session, let's pretend that I just joined Notion Motors as a product manager. My real life husband is a comedian, so my boss told me to use some of his jokes in case the demo stalls, which is how I know he's never watched any of my husband's comedy, because if I said any of that, I would be fired. So I asked him to write me some jokes in case we need them. Let's hope we don't. We're using AI meeting notes for today's session, so don't worry about trying to take notes. It'll capture all the highlights and key takeaways. We'll share a QR code with the notes and resources at the end. So pretend it's my first week of onboarding, and this is my calendar. As you can see, it's jam-packed with onboarding sessions, a run of one-on-ones, team intros, and a big customer call on Friday, because nothing says, welcome to the team, like trial by fire. The first thing on my mind, though, is I want to prepare for more team intros and one-on-ones. So let's see how my AI team can make my day a little easier. So I'm in the Notion Motors workspace. Let's pause and think about how this usually goes. In the past, when you join a new company, you'll spend hours digging through old docs and trying to retain what you think is the most important information, orienting yourself in Slack threads, and unfortunately interrupting teammates with those quick questions that are really never that quick. It was unavoidable and part of the process, but now it doesn't have to be. So I want to get started with preparing for my one-on-one. So let's see if I can get some help from our first AI teammate, Enterprise Search, which can be found here in the Notion AI tab of your workspace. Instead of searching through all of our tools, I can just ask here, and Enterprise Search will synthesize information across my company's collective knowledge. If I click here on All Sources, you can see all of the connected apps that we're searching across. For my one-on-one with Renee, I don't need to search the internet, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this web search toggle off. Now I can ask my question. What does Renee work on? I get a lot of messages these days that start with, Notion AI told me you'd be the best person to reach out to about X. When I joined Notion, Enterprise Search didn't exist, and I can tell you this would have saved me so much time and embarrassing questions, even in our No Dumb Questions Slack channel. I know our new Tinos feel the same today. Now let's take a look at our response. With Notion's Enterprise Search, you're not just getting a stack of links. You're getting a synthesized answer that combines information across all of your connected apps, providing you with a comprehensive summary with source materials that you can click into later if you need to. Now, when I show up to my one-on-one with Renee, I know what project she's working on, what initiative she's leading, and I know where to dive deeper if I need more context. This way, in my first week, I can focus on building relationships and can start adding value right away.
All right, so when you're about to jump into a one-on-one, this is when you start to think about what you have to do. There's a fair bit of juggling. You're going to have to take notes, listen really carefully, and ask smart questions. And if you're anything like me, those notes don't usually make a lot of sense the next day. Instead, in Notion, Holly just creates a doc in her one-on-one meetings database, types /meet to open up AI meeting notes, and when the meeting begins, she just has to tap start. From that moment, it's got her back. It'll quietly transcribe in the background so she can stay focused on the conversation. So let's pretend this meeting is over and have a look at the output. So let's first go to the transcript tab. This is where AI has been writing down everything they've been saying word for word, so Renee and Holly don't have to worry about capturing any notes. Let's now go over to the Notes tab. You can see here that one of them has written, check pilot timeline next week. This was probably important context or an action item, and what's really useful about using this is AI uses this to make the summary smarter and more relevant for you. And finally, let's look at the Summary tab. Here you can see that AI has recapped the key takeaways from their meetings, as well as some of the action items that they've discussed. So that way, when Holly's meeting is over, she can just move on right to the action items, no need to do any tidying up, no need to do any follow-up, it's all there. All right, so after this one-on-one, Holly wants to take a pause, take a look at everything that's come out from her meetings. You can see here she's been in a bunch of one-on-ones, each with their own action items. Because she's captured all those notes in Notion, they're not just sitting there. We can turn all of that into something useful. So let's hop over to Holly's to-dos. This is where she's been tracking everything she needs to do. And let's ask AI, add those action items from my one-on-one to this board view. When your notes live where you work, they don't just sit in docs. They're not separate from your workflow. They power your next steps in Notion. And for me, this is where it really clicks. Action items from my meetings become my to-dos. AI helps me write those follow-ups. And when we have these kickoff meetings, I can get AI to turn it into a project tracker just by asking. I also spend a lot of my time speaking to customers. And in the past, I would have taken hours to synthesize the key insights into a report. But now I just ask AI to pull out the key insights into a first draft, and that way I'm spending most of my time refining it with my perspective, and it helps me get the report out faster too. All right, here you can see that AI's added all her action items here from different meetings, and because it's taken context from those meetings, it's also helped prioritize it based on urgency. Okay, let's try and knock off an easy task. Let's pick that one from the low priority. So Holly wants to draft a quick Slack message from all the key decisions from her one-on-one with One, because they've been discussing what they need to prioritize to build the GPS tracking system on mobile. So let's just ask Notion AI to draft that quick Slack update. Holly wants to let her team know what they've decided just in case there's anything to be concerned about. And just like that, you can see here that AI's drafted this message and it's ready to use because it's from her notes, it's accurate and aligned, and there's no need to tidy up.
All right, let's switch gears. Next up, I want to prep for our team meeting tomorrow. Imagine, I've just joined the mobile team and I'm jumping into the project mid-sprint. I've been digesting a lot of new information this week as a new employee, so I could really use the TLDR. So I'm going to go back to the Notion AI tab and get some more help from our friend Enterprise Search. This time I'm going to ask, what is the context for the mobile app project in 5 bullets? Now, even when you're joining a new company that has great documentation, like we would think Notion does, it can still be really intimidating figuring out where to start. One of my favorite things about asking for help with Enterprise Search is I can be pretty specific for the way I want my information structured. So if I want a concise 5-bullet overview for the TLDR, like I'm asking for here, I can do that. Or if I want a comprehensive overview of all of the decisions that have been made so far for the project, I could also ask for that. Notion AI is being a little slow right now, so we're gonna go ahead and mark this in progress as that keeps working. Now that we've seen that you can get answers with Enterprise Search, theoretically, and we can automatically capture and act on insights from our meeting notes. Let's see if we can raise the stakes with research mode. All right, so tomorrow I have my customer call, and I want to show up and make a good first impression. To do that, I want to be able to know everything there is to know about our customer, what they care about, and help me prepare for the feature requests that I know that they're going to be asking about in our call tomorrow. So I'm going to hop into our Notion AI tab again, but this time I'm going to select research. I want to do research on the web, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this toggle back on. I'm going to go ahead and enter my prompt here. With research mode, you can enter in plain language, just like you would with any other AI chat tool. You can be as specific or as simple as you want in your initial prompt. So let's watch research mode get to work. Here, you'll be able to actually watch as research mode thinks and works its way through your prompt. It conducts deep research across a multi-step search across your workspace, connected apps, and the internet for that market research. It's pulling together both internal and external insights for you, which can save you hours or maybe even days of analyzing this information for yourself. Now, personally, I love research mode for two main things for our PMM work. The first is market research heading into a launch, and the second is gathering customer sentiment post-launch. For market research planning a launch, research mode can be really helpful in helping me gather user insights, competitive analysis, and market trends. And for gaining customer sentiment post-launch, it can be really helpful in helping me gather customer feedback across social media, our support tickets, and even community forums. As you can see, it has prepared a comprehensive research report. It's not just generalized search results and a stack of links. It shows its work, and it's a report that you can save as a draft and share. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as a page. With research mode, it's really that simple to get something onto the page. No more staring at that blank page, not knowing where to start. And like any other Notion page, you can share it with your teammates. I'm not ready to do that yet, so I'm gonna just go ahead and move that into my to-do task for a customer prep call. Maybe I'll read this on my train ride home. Now, if I have follow-up questions for research mode, I can continue to chat with it here just like you would with any other AI chat tool. So maybe I want to ask for, what did we promise them last quarter? And make sure I don't say anything I'm not supposed to say. Or help me draft 5 key points that I should make sure to bring up in tomorrow's call. Or maybe I want to make this a little bit more digestible and easy to read. I can use this to I can ask research mode to turn this into a table and help me make sure it's a little bit easier for my teammates to follow along.
All right. Just like the real Holly, let's see if fictional Holly can be the ultimate overachiever in her first week and take on one more big task. Looking at her to-dos, one of the things she needs to get done in her high priority list is draft that product requirement document for the GPS tracking function so that engineers can get started. There's been a ton of requests for this across community forums, customers, so let's see what research mode can do. Here, we want to ask research mode to draft that requirement document first, and then have Holly chime in. We've seen how research mode works, so let's skip to the output. Here, we know it's grounded in all the right context because it's pulling from Notion docs, past meeting notes, any connected apps, the web, and so the output feels tailored and relevant to you. But because it's all in Notion, it's not just a wall of text. It becomes collaborative right away. It's flexible, so Holly can just save this as a page, start making tweaks. She can share it with teammates, add comments, all the things we already do in Notion to collaborate as a team. And that's really what sets Notion apart. And finally, work just flows. If you remember from the start of today, Holly went from a meeting note to a task to a spec, and all of that happened in one place, no context switching. And there it is, a solid first pass. So let's take a step back and reflect on Holly's day. With AI in the mix, her day has felt lighter. It took notes for her in her one-on-ones so she could stay present. It took those action items and put it in her to-do list without her lifting a finger. She sent that important Slack message within seconds, caught up on a project midway without bugging anyone, and even got a big head start for a bigger project like drafting that document. Honestly, it's nothing flashy. It's just less busy work, more headspace, and the sense that things are moving forward.
Before, a lot of my time went into chasing down context. I'd have to search through docs, Slack threads, and pester teammates to help remind me what were those decisions that we made. On top of that, I was bouncing between a bunch of different tools just to feel like I was keeping work moving. It was slow, frustrating, and not the best use of my time. Today, it looks completely different. Instead of spending time hunting for information, I can jump in and start contributing right away. Instead of juggling between 10 different tools, I can work in one place with a centralized source of truth across all of my connected apps. And instead of stitching information together by myself, I have my AI teammates built right into Notion to help me. They already understand the context of my work, so they can really help me draft, summarize, and organize information in a way that makes sense for me and my team. Now, let's move back to the demo environment one more time.
All right, before you head out, we wanted to leave you with a few practical tips, so when you go back, you can get started. So let's first start with enterprise search and research mode. Just like any teammates, AI can only be helpful if it has the context it needs. And in Notion, that means connecting the apps you use every day. So things like Slack, GitHub, Jira, Google Drive, and we'll keep adding more over time. So to do that, let's tap on All Sources and tap on Connect Apps, and here it will open up the Notion AI settings. Just link the tools you need, and don't worry about permissions, those carry over. If you're not an admin for your workspace, that's okay, just let your admin know, and they can set it up for everyone. And once you're connected, you're ready to start asking questions. And here's the tip, the more specific, the more actionable the answer will be. Next up is AI meeting notes. Here are a couple tips that will help you set it up, and that way you'll never have to remember to take notes again, which we know is half the battle. So first, we highly recommend you use the Notion desktop app for the best experience. And the reason for that is, on the desktop app, AI can hear both the system audio and your mic, so it hears all sides of the conversation in video calls. AI can only hear your mic on browser, so it's best for in-person conversations. And second, we recommend that you connect your calendar, and to do that, you just have to open up the block, tap on the slider, and tap on Connect Notion Calendar. And what's really useful about this is right before your meeting, you'll get a notification to join the meeting and start AI meeting notes. And finally, if your company uses a meetings database, just feel free to pop in AI meeting notes into the template. All right, to wrap up, let's jump back into our meeting notes for this session and tap Stop. Here, AI has been transcribing everything we've been discussing today. It's reading through the transcript. It's trying to make sense of what the key takeaways are. If we give it a few seconds, you can see that AI will start to pull together the key takeaways and action items, if any. All right, and there it is. So that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining us today. Holly and I hope that you're walking away with a few practical tips, some excitement about what's possible with AI. So you'll see the QR code on the screen. Scan it if you'd like a copy of today's notes and some helpful resources to get started. We'll be cheering you on when you go back after this and hope that you find a lot of good stuff out of AI.
Thank you.